Welcome to this deep dive. We're the place where we sort through tons of information, really, just to pull out the most interesting bits for you.
That's the plan.
So today, we're kind of taking this bird's eye view, looking at India from above, you could say.
Yeah, and focusing on something really unique there, how these, ancient, deep-rooted traditions are mixing with very modern, fast-paced changes.
Exactly. And our main source for this is a transcript from Nat Geo Wild's India from Above.
Great source for this kind of perspective.
So get ready for a look at this huge nation. What is it, 1.3 billion people?
Yep, over 1.3 billion. And it's the birthplace of Hinduism, but also a secular country with many faiths thriving side by side.
We'll be flying over, metaphorically speaking, ancient festivals, deep beliefs, but also cutting-edge tech, economic growth, even extreme sports.
It's quite the mix. And what hits you straight away from that aerial view is just the sheer history. Over 5,000 years of civilization.
Right alongside a super modern society.
Exactly. It's not like the old just disappears. It's interacting constantly with the new. It's vibrant.
Okay, so let's start with one of the oldest threads then. Faith. Hinduism, it's the world's oldest surviving major religion, right? Texts going back maybe 4,000 years.
That's right. And central to so much of it is water.
Yeah.
It's held as incredibly sacred.
Especially the Ganges River, its influence is just huge.
Oh, absolutely. It's more than just a river. It's a spiritual lifeline, but also a practical one for millions and millions of people.
And the transcript highlights Prayag, about 450 miles southeast of Delhi.
Yes, Prayag.
Yeah.
That's where the Ganga meets the Yamuna River and also the mythical Saraswati River.
Mythical?
Yeah, believed to flow underground.
Right.
And for Hindus, this confluence is massively important. Bathing there is believed to wash away sins.
Which leads us to the Kumbh.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
the Kumbh, held every 6 years at Prayag and 3 other holy sites. It is, hands down, the largest religious gathering on earth.
We're talking tens of millions of pilgrims converging. It creates this temporary city almost the size of Manhattan.
It's staggering. And historically, that kind of density, well, it's carried huge risks. Overcrowding, stampedes, tragically, those have happened.
So how do you even begin to manage something on that scale today? It seems impossible.
Well, this is where that blend we talked about comes in. The transcript mentions Deputy Inspector General K.P. Singh and a really quite clever technological solution.
Right. They didn't just rely on traditional policing, did they?
No. They integrated tech massively. Over 1,000 fixed cameras, plus drones, all feeding live video back to a control center.
And this is the really cool part. They're using AI, artificial intelligence, to watch the crowds.
Exactly. Real-time analysis. Algorithms are trained to spot crowd density. So if it detects more than, say, 3 people per square meter, that triggers an alert.
Kind of an early warning.
Precisely. And if it hits 5 people per square meter, that's a more urgent signal. It means things are getting potentially dangerous.
So it's proactive, not just reacting after something bad happens.
That's the key. It lets the police on the ground see where problems might be developing before they escalate. They can redirect people, use the pressure, prevent those dangerous bottlenecks.
Making the whole 50-day festival safer.
Much safer. And apparently, at the end of the 2019 festival, they even had drones display a message, G 2019, a real symbol of tradition meeting tech.
That's a powerful image. Okay, so the Kumbh is obviously deeply religious, but India's festival scene is incredibly varied, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think about the Sunburn EDM Festival in Goa every December. Totally different vibe.
Right, electronic dance music, global crowd, beaches, a world away from Prague.
It really shows the sheer breadth of culture. You've got ancient rituals and, super contemporary globalized celebrations happening in the same country.
And then there's Holi. That seems to cut across many lines.
Yes, Holi in the spring. The transcript notes how it brings together Indians of almost all faiths. It's that famous festival of colors.
Vibrant, chaotic, fun.
Definitely. And even within Holis, you find these unique local traditions, like the Lothi beating in a village called Nangal.
Stick beating. What's that about?
Well, it's actually a playful reenactment of a Hindu legend. It involved Lord Krishna and his consort Radha.
Okay.
The story goes, Krishna teased Radha, maybe threw some color on her, and she and her friends playfully chased him off with sticks with lathis.
Ah, I see. So it's a reenactment.
Exactly. In Nangal, during Holi, the women playfully tapped the men with sticks, all while everyone's throwing colored powder. It's this really lively way an ancient story stays part of the culture.
That's amazing. So lively. Okay, moving from festivals,
Right.
let's talk about ambition on a bigger stage. India's space program, ISRO.
Right. Missions to the moon, Mars. a
Right.
huge point of national pride.
And the transcript draws an interesting line connecting this modern push for science and tech back to like ancient Indian roots in engineering and maths.
It does. It suggests this isn't entirely new, this drive for discovery and building things. There's maybe a continuity there, a long-standing curiosity.
And it's not just in space tech, right? This mix of old and new happens in more traditional industries too.
Absolutely. Take fishing down in Veeraval, Gujarat. You got modern fiberglass boats right next to these huge traditional wooden fishing boats still being built.
Using techniques passed down for centuries.
Exactly. The transcript highlights a shipbuilder, Mansoor Kazi. Comes from a long line of these craftsmen. He builds massive wooden boats up to 1,500 tons for clients who specifically want that traditional build.
Wow, 1,500 tons out of wood. That's huge.
It is, and they talk about the pressure having to finish building a dhow, which is a type of large wooden sailing vessel within a tight 7-day window before the high tide comes in.
Intense.
Very. And the process itself, starting with the keel, building the frame, adding the outer skin, all using these time-honored methods, but maybe fastened with modern nuts and bolts here and there, it just shows how these skills survive.
So you've got Mars missions and ancient shipbuilding coexisting.
That's India in a nutshell in many ways. Preserving heritage while reaching for the future.
Okay, speaking of the future, energy demand. India's economy is growing fast, population heading towards, what, 1.5 billion by 2030?
Yeah, the energy needs are soaring, which is why, as the transcript points out, they've set this really ambitious goal, get 40% of their power from renewable sources.
And they showcase a massive solar farm to illustrate this in Gorti, Tamil Nadu.
That's the one. It's hard to even picture the scale. 2.5 million solar panels.
2.5 million.
Spread over an area they compared to 950 Olympic football pitches.
Right.
It generates 648 megawatts, enough clean energy for about 150,000 homes.
Incredible scale. But doesn't dust become a huge issue in a place like that, covering the panels, reducing efficiency?
It absolutely does. Major challenge.
Yeah.
But they have this brilliant, almost sci-fi solution.
Go on.
Robots.
Yeah.
25 giant robotic mops, basically. They move automatically across the panels, cleaning off the dust.
No way. Robots cleaning solar panels.
Yep. And get this, the robots themselves are solar-powered.
That's fantastic. Solar-powered robots maintaining a solar farm. It's perfectly circular.
It really is. Shows they're not just installing renewables, but thinking hard about how to make them work optimally, using innovation.
Okay, shifting gears dramatically now. From high-tech solar farms to the Himalayas, the Deccan.
Right. Way up north. One of the most remote, high-altitude, demanding landscapes imaginable.
And the transcript takes us there for an ultramarathon.
Yeah, the Kungla Challenge. We're talking extreme conditions. It's a high-altitude, cold desert.
Temperatures near freezing, even in summer when the race happens.
Close to 0 Fahrenheit in winter, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the race altitude is over 17,000 feet. That means about 50% less oxygen than at sea level. Just breathing is hard work.
And they race 44.7 miles in that.
44.7 miles,
Yeah.
divided into 4 legs. It includes climbing up to the Cardungla Pass, which is one of the highest drivable roads on the planet.
This sounds absolutely brutal. Who does this?
Well, it's become this kind of extreme sporting event, drawing people internationally now.
Yeah.
The transcript mentions a local guy, Shabir Hussain, who incredibly won it 3 years running.
3 years. That's some serious endurance.
Unbelievable resilience. And it also notes, I think, 142 people started 1 year, but only 120 finished. That gives you a sense of the toll it takes.
Definitely tests human limits. Okay, so from the extremes of physical endurance, let's come back down to something more fundamental for society. Democracy.
Right. India is the world's largest democracy, second most populous nation overall.
And most people live in villages, right? Over 500,000 villages.
That's right. So ensuring everyone registered can actually vote,
Mm-hmm.
that's a monumental logistical task,
Yeah.
especially for the federal elections every 5 years.
The scale is just mind-bending. The electorate in 2019 was around 900 million people.
Roughly, yes.
Yeah.
Larger than the entire population of the U.S. and the EU combined.
Wow. So how does the Election Commission of India even attempt to reach everyone?
They go to incredible lengths. The transcript gives this amazing example. A lone priest living deep inside the Gir Forest National Park in Gujarat.
A forest famous for its lions, right?
Exactly. Remote place. But he's a registered voter. So election officials travel all the way in there, set up a dedicated polling booth, complete with staff, just for him.
For one person.
For one person. It's part of a network of over 1 million polling booths across the country. It's this profound commitment to the principle that every single vote matters.
That's Incredibly powerful. And they use that indelible ink on the finger, too.
Yeah, the purple ink. Simple, effective way to prevent anyone trying to vote twice in such a massive exercise.
Amazing dedication. Okay, finally, the transcript takes us to Delhi.
India's capital.
Mm.
A huge modern metropolis, but also layered with history. Been rebuilt 9 times, apparently.
Yeah.
Capital for over 100 years now.
And specifically to the Republic Day Parade on January 26th.
Ah, yes. A major national event. It's a huge spectacle showcasing India's diversity, its military strength, its cultural heritage, its achievements.
Draws massive crowds, right?
But
100,000 spectators lining the route.
easily. And millions more watching on TV, like 40 million. It's a big deal.
And one of the most unique parts highlighted in the transcript is the camel contingent.
Oh, the Border Security Force camels.
Yeah.
Yes, they're iconic. A really unique military unit and highly honored.
Camels in a military parade. Tell me more.
Well, these aren't just any camels. They and their riders from the BSF go through incredibly rigorous training back at their barracks in Jodhpur.
Training for camels.
Oh, yeah. Physical fitness, drills, even gymnastic routines. Both the soldiers and the camels have to perform complex formations perfectly in sync while marching the 4.2-mile parade route.
Gymnastics on camels. Seriously.
Well, maybe not backflips, but intricate movements, formations, staying perfectly aligned. And there's a huge emphasis on the bond between rider and camel, daily grooming, care, building trust.
It sounds like a real partnership.
It has to be. And apparently only the absolute best, most disciplined, most skilled camel and rider pairs actually get selected to march in the Republic Day Parade each year. It's a massive honor.
What a sight that must be. A truly unique blend of military tradition and, well, animal partnership.
It really sums up so much of what we've seen, doesn't it? This ability to hold on to unique traditions, even integrate them into modern state functions alongside everything else.
Absolutely. So thinking back over this whole aerial tour, what's the big takeaway?
I think it really is that seamless integration, or maybe sometimes slightly chaotic integration, of the ancient and the modern. You've got AI managing millennia-old pilgrimages,
You've got traditional boat builders whose craft exists alongside a space program.
renewable energy being cleaned by robots,
Uh-huh.
extreme sports, finding a place in ancient landscapes, and this deep, deep commitment to democracy, reaching literally every single citizen.
It paints this picture of a country just surging forward, full of energy, but without discarding its past. It's carrying its history with it.
Exactly. Embracing tradition, even as it innovates and changes at incredible speed.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How do other societies manage that balance, honoring the past while forging a future?
It's a universal challenge, really.
And maybe think about those unexpected connections we saw, like AI and faith, or robots and renewables. Where else might seemingly disparate things come together to shape our world in surprising ways? Something to ponder, perhaps.